Okay, so hi, I'm Søren. I'm the CEO of Zero North, and today I'm here together with John from Veson. So maybe you just introduce yourself as well, John.
Yeah, nice to talk to you, Soren. This is John from Veson Nautical. I've had the privilege of working alongside my dad from the early days within shipping and to help move the platform forward within the maritime space.
And I guess the conversation today and the background of the conversation it very much lingers around Zero North and Veson Nautical beginning to do a more structured partnership around sharing data and bringing more value to the customers. So maybe, John, you can tell us a little bit about some of the strategic decisions on partnering and how you see that fit in with Zero North.
I think, for us, in looking at what the shipping industry needs in order to take advantage of technology, we realize that we can't build everything ourselves, and there's a lot of innovation within the industry, both from experienced people within the ship management space, but also from the tech sector that are coming in. And so our vision has been to have an open platform. And so what this means is that we can partner with innovative best-of-breed solutions and tightly integrate them in so that our customers can go to one place and get the value from these types of solutions.
And I think this is exactly what Zero North has been looking at as well, being a new tech startup out of Denmark and really focusing on optimization of the vessels, right? And in order to have that user experience, we strongly believe in data integration so that data comes from one source and they don't have to sit and manually type in things, right? So I think that's actually where a company like ours can collaborate, right? And I don't know, at least from our side, John, I don't know where you are in that, but we see two challenges in the industry right now. One being, okay, how do they actually make money? And the other one, how do we help them decarbonization agenda as well? And I guess that a lot of underlying there is around the data.
Yeah, and I think what's exciting here is there is, of course, one of the challenges in the industry is there hasn't really been a standardization of data. So how do you measure a voyage? How do you actually look at the fuel grades and look at them in a normalized way? Even things like standardizing, port names and locations and terminals and things like that haven't really yet fully evolved within the maritime space. And I think what's really exciting here is we're actually building on a data standard between our two companies so that we can exchange this performance data. Nothing needs to be rekeyed because it's something that as users are within the platform and operating their voyages, automatically will go to the optimized solution. And we think that this is really one of the first critical steps towards really bringing a user experience that's integrated and not just looking at data points, but looking at how the end user can actually have the full picture and be seeing that in one way by combining our two solutions.
And I guess that the whole partnership here is around us, like doing a standard API. So if you are a user of the VIP platform, then basically you can open the data, and if you're a customer of Zero North using the optimized, it's really around setting the right speed and ensuring that the vessels are bunkering at the right place. Data will flow fluently between the two, right, and really get that one state of optimization in place. And now we've been going at it here in Zero North for only 10 months, right? And I think one of the points around the standardization and data is a lot of people talk about data being an asset class, but then how do you actually translate it into US dollar and reduce CO2 emissions? And I think this is actually like a good step in that direction where people are cross-sharing data and infrastructure to help each other on that.
Absolutely, and I think it's exactly that, turning the data into insights, and that's about having that information in context as you work, and seamlessly being able to flow between the solutions so that it doesn't disrupt your workflow, and that you actually, because the information is presented to you in a certain context, you can actually make better decisions, and that's what leads to profitability and ultimately to better performance and a better environmental impact for the vessels.
So if we also now look at sort of this tangible collaboration that we are having and really bringing data into actions, but the question maybe is even further saying, okay, so where are we going for the next 2 to 3 years on the technology front for the industry? And I don't know, what do you see on your side on that one?
Well, one of the things with the pandemic and what's happened in the world is we've actually seen an acceleration of adoption of digital technologies as the workforce becomes more and more remote. We've also seen a lot of challenges, for seafarers, and it's been, really difficult for the industry in a lot of ways. And I think that this has helped. I guess one of the silver linings has been that it's shown that we do need to improve our technology and the way that we utilize it to actually achieve, not just optimal results, but to do what's right for the planet overall, and thinking about decarbonization and thinking about, how can we really, make a meaningful difference in reduction of emissions and running things more efficiently. And I think what we've seen is that in the past, first, as we discussed, there's been sort of this silos of information that were held very close. And I think we're slowly starting to see some of the leaders within the industry are promoting the sharing of information for a greater good, which makes great profit sense, but also can improve how we're running our vessels and how ultimately global maritime commerce runs. And I think that this is going to continue. I think there will be an accelerated adoption of technology and these types of digital solutions. And I think what's going to drive it is not really just the data, but it's how you marry the data in the right context so that you can make insights and measure what are the benefits. And once you can make those benefits really clear and measurable, I think there's going to be an accelerated pace of adoption for this type of technology.
I think it's super valuable in understanding that silo and how does that connect, right? And if I was to look at like 2-3 years ahead, I would start by looking 2-3 years backwards in time, right? When we actually started this whole thinking, and even Shinoz is only 10 months old, we did have some of the thinking like earlier. And at that point, there was kind of very limited startup. I remember actually doing some studies around how few startups there was, and that it was actually interesting seeing so many other industries, how much money was put into the startup world. And now suddenly looking around us and just seeing, wow, there's like money flowing all around, and there's a lot of new commerce coming to the market, chasing a little bit of the same side of the coin, right? And I think for us, of course, it can be a little bit scary. Wow, there's a lot of competition out there. I actually think it's very beneficial for the industry because it is a super big industry, right? With the transshipping industry being like 33,000 vessels, like having turnovers of over $100 billion, emitting more like, 375, 400 million metric tons of CO2s. There's a huge opportunity, right? So I think there's room for a lot of different players in the optimization, and each one will tweak and do their own. But it's important that we collectively focus on it, right? And what we at least see when we get out there now and talk to customers around using their data to optimize better and more is actually that somebody else has put the same on the agenda, or they will go out and hear others. And then that it's automatically puts a little bit higher on the agenda of saying, okay, a lot of people are talking about this. We probably also have to do something. I also see definitely an industry that will in some kind of way convert to standard cloud-based software, where some of the bigger players have built own solutions. I guess you can be a good example of if you went back, 5-10 years, how many companies didn't have like their own in-house built voice management system versus now being like much more standardized. And I think these kind of optimization softwares, collaboration softwares, transparency softwares, everything that we're doing to drive down will be more and more around standard solutions. I think that will be we've seen that in other industries, that will be the same here. So the competitive edge, I think for companies is much more around how do you use the software more than how do you as a shipping company build software. And I think that would be definitely a big change that we will continue to see in this space of the industry. So I think we are really talking about like the asset class of data and how we bring it to life, right? And that this industry is fairly fragmented in many aspects. So one company doesn't have enough data on their own to actually build the underlying optimization engine, right? So it is around cross-sharing and have an open view of saying if I add my data to something, I will actually get more back than I'm giving. And I think that's the whole network of a data effect is super vital. And by us having this now together with you guys, I think that is really what can help the industry in a bigger scale.
Yeah, I think so. And I think classically, I think the industry has been very closed about data. And I think what we've seen over the last 10, 15 years, as AIS positions have opened up and it's been a little bit more difficult to hide information, is that the companies that are actually embracing change realize that in order to really optimize, you have to be willing to share certain data points, and that ultimately this is going to be to the benefit of owners and charterers and the industry as a whole. And I think what's great about the two solutions that we've put together is that it starts it provides a standard for that type of connectivity and opens up for more of that sharing, which will hopefully happen within the broader sector.
And if we talk about the benefits, right, on the customer side, I of course from our side it's around taking the voice data, combining with the market rates, the bunker price, the weather, and turn that into tangible actions for an operator of saying, okay, how do I make more informed and information? How do I ensure that the operator is really that I'm being informed when I have to do something instead of have to kind of look for when to do something. The software will monitor and alert on that side, right? So I think that's from the users here. How do you see the benefit from your customers and how they benefit on this partnership and sharing of data?
I think we've long embraced within the platform the idea of management by exception, and what we sort of feel that the software should do is certainly, it can't be taking the decisions, but what it can do is present the information to you in context and prompt you. And with this sort of next generation of APIs and connectivity in the cloud, the system can get smarter and smarter about what are these types of reminders, what can it anticipate. And so I think, for example, a user that's in our system and is looking at overall how are they routing, how are they planning future voyages, with that data automatically going into the optimized solution and back into the platform as they're working, they can just make better decisions without leaving the console and the application that they already know.
And I've probably been mostly amazed on actually that we are managing to now get to a point where if you are a customer of yours and a customer of Zero North, right, it's basically going into your software and click one button and then the data is flowing, right? So basically as a customer you don't have to do anything, and I think that is the way that the industry needs to work, where they don't have to have an IT department and structuring data in order for actually it to flow seamlessly between partners, right? So for me, that is a new thing for the industry as well, and hopefully we'll see much more of that.
Absolutely, and I think that's a good way of putting it, right? The solution is turnkey. Anyone who's on our platform or is on your platform and they want to connect those, they don't have to do any work. And we've seen over the years a lot of investment where companies have built almost the same types of interfaces again and again and again. And what this is something that just comes prepackaged. All of the data points are mapped. The security is integrated in. And from a user experience point of view, it really creates sort of a seamless flow. So clients don't really need to know what is happening where. What they need to know is that they're getting the best possible tools and doing the best analysis from one place. And I think that's really exciting.
So if you should finish off and you should talk a little bit about where do you see yourself going now from here in as a strategic direction, where would you then aim?
Well, the Veson vision is to be the standard platform that propels maritime commerce, and I think we recognize that there's a lot of innovation within the industry. I think it's accelerated over the last several years, and there's certain leaders that are emerging in different technological areas, and we see Zero North as one of those within the bunker optimization space. And so what we're building into the platform is a way to make it very easy to extend and build not just data integrations, but actually user experience kind of plugins that can just come into the platform and extend the capabilities where our partners can build and evolve those tools and provide services to our clients. And part of the other part of this is facilitating the standard language and the standard data points that we use to communicate. And we think that this is something that the industry ultimately will collaborate on. but that by having certain reference implementations, such as ours, around some of this data, I think what it'll do is hopefully accelerate the adoption of these standards. And I think we'll come up with even more new exciting solutions that can really help us optimize freight, not looking from the perspective of one entity, but something that just takes a look a little bit more at the macro execution, where you actually can get to a higher level of optimization.
Got it. Yeah, and you see, I think that's a good part. A lot of the technology things that's happening in the industry is really complementary, right? Where people are looking at different challenges from different angles, where Sea North is very much looking at building software to optimize for the operator and really have like that understanding of what's happening on the vessel and how do we guide that vessel, especially in the market where often we see in the transshipping that those on the vessels, meaning the crew, is actually not working for the charter because, well, you chartered out the vessel, right? And then it's an operator sitting at shore deciding on something they don't have insights to. So how do we empower them and give that insight out of standard market data? But they, of course, keep on taking it further from there, and then how do we begin to connect the industry and use that data set to drive down the CO2 emission is really where I see us taking Sea North. So it's been quite an interesting journey for 10 months now of getting to, like, I think we have 11 customers, still can count the number of customers, as I said, true startup, right? And 1,300 vessels committed. But I think this is really a keystone of collaboration, and I hope that the partnership here can, of course, benefit you and I, but I think more importantly that it can benefit the customers and the users of the two softwares. Because I think this is fine, there's a lot of money invested in technology for the industry. But if you don't manage to actually capture the value for the users, I don't think a lot of money will flow back to any of those technology investments, right? And there's a lot of things going wrong, around. But if they stay siloed in smaller things, I don't think we'll see that bigger value. And I think there's really a good step forward for the industry of trying to connect the dots and collaborate. So, John, I think I don't know if you have any other thoughts or considerations.
No, I think from my perspective, I think this is a big step. I think we're very excited to work with you. We have over 300 clients worldwide that are on the platform, and I think I'd say all of them would benefit from this solution. So we're really excited about launching this and the work we've done so far. And really appreciate all the work that you've done to help move this collaboration forward.
No, and equally on our side, of course, we can tap each other on the shoulder, and because it has been a joint learning experience over the last period of really getting this up and running, right? And hopefully this can accelerate for you guys to use this for others, and for us, it should hopefully be that we can help expand the software and bring that to more customers and thereby have a further optimization. So thanks so much, John, for checking in, and good to catch up again. And then let's see where this industry goes, and maybe we can check in again later on next year and see what actually happened on this.
Always good to talk to you, and thanks again.